Jard is sponsored by 5thegamer, so for all of your headset needs, go to 5thegamer.com and use discount code JARD20 at checkout to receive 10% off your next order. Jard is also partnered with Xtiffy, so for all of your GTA resources, go check out xtiffy.com, that's xtiffi.com. We do have our own website complete with a full episode catalog, merch, and more information about each of our cast members, so you can find that at jardpodcast.com. We are also on Patreon, so to become a patron, go to patreon.com/jardpodcast.
I'm here.
Ryan's
Ass.
like, you
Just ass. Just her ass. That sounds like her ass. No, you quickly.
You're right in the f***y.
This is a great start. This is quality.
It's tremendous. Tremendous.
This is amazing. Are we
This
actually
is quality content.
Are we actually going?
I mean, I'm in.
I am. I hit record.
I like how
My-
this has become our new like frequent intro. We're all asking each other, "Are we in?"
Yeah.
If-
Just
Are we going?
can we
Am I in?
coordinate pressing record at the same time as a unit? Like we test that every week on each other. It's
We do, and I just want to say, if you're
Beautiful.
on YouTube, just close your eyes and play the beginning back, and we're all just going, are we in? Are you in? Are we in? Just close your eyes to that bit, and you're
Oh, there
there.
goes my camera already. Can you leave
Wow, world record right there. Unbelievable. You're the
Yeah,
other side.
So,
You're the other side this
Oh.
time. Oh, dang. I was not expecting
yep.
that. Well, hi everybody, and welcome back to
Yeah.
Jard.
Wow. I'm a little concerned. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Jard.
You're going for the.
I am a little
sultry-
concerned because my audio levels they're showing like smaller than usual. So I hope my audio sounds okay.
It should be fine.
Sounds fine.
I tested it before we got in here, so
I worry about my audio on a weekly basis.
I'm always worrying about.
they're just
mine.
not reading as full as they usually do. That's all.
Would-
God, I hope it's working.
Well, if it's showing up, then
Yeah, if it's showing,
you'll be
then-
fine.
Well, I
it'll
know
be
it's
okay.
detecting something. It's just like very, very, very small. Anyway, I guess we'll just go for it. I mean, whatever.
Well, you sound great.
Fuck it, dude.
Just keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't close again randomly.
Yeah, we don't need to
Well,
lose your
we
feed.
solved that problem. So.
True, we did.
Oh boy. Okay. Well. I'm so tired. Amber has us here on like a weekday.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. That's why everyone here looks like shit today. It's Amber's fault.
Hey, I worked really hard on this makeup before I got here. Yes, I'm tired, but
I'm just tired because I'm drugged up to hell, so I'm. Oh, over the counter.
I woke
rather.
up, had a shave and a shower.
Dougie's fresh. He's good to go.
yeah.
It's-
But in all seriousness, we are recording on a Friday night, which is not the norm for us. We usually record on Saturdays, and today is my baby boy's birthday.
Yay!
So
Happy birthday, Weldon.
Happy birthday, Will.
happy birthday, Weldon, artist also known as Axel, apparently, because that's what he's decided he's changed his name to. But yeah, he's 4 today, and me and my husband unfortunately had to work. So tomorrow we are doing our 4th birthday big celebrations. And so because we both had to work, he stayed with Alan's parents. They watched him while, babysitting, whatever. They both took off work so they could spend his birthday with him. And I was waiting on Alan and Weldon to get home, and they pulled into the yard, and I met them outside. As soon as Weldon steps out of the car, I notice he has something on his face. And as he gets closer to me, it's a Band-Aid all the way across his lip. Immediately, I'm freaking out because no one has mentioned that he's gotten hurt. No one has mentioned that, hey, he's going to come home with a Band-Aid. No one told me anything.
Cut himself shaving.
I was going to say, was he shaving already?
So I'm like, oh my God. Like last year, his 3rd birthday, we spent it at the doctor because he had like 103 fever, like he had the flu. And so this year, I'm thinking, oh my God, he's busted his face wide open on his 4th birthday. The poor kid is never going to catch a f***ing break. Like, they don't teach you this. And I'm trying to ask him what happened, and all he's saying is, no, don't take it off. No, don't take it off. Don't take it off. And I'm like, okay, baby, I won't. He's like, don't touch it. Don't touch it. And I'm like, okay, I won't touch it. I get him inside, and then I hurry to Alan, because I'm trying not to freak out in front of the kid. Because the last thing that you want to do is worry the child even more. And so I walk up to Alan, and I'm like, what the f*** happened to his face? Like, did he slice it open? What's going on? Because he's not letting me get anywhere near it. He says that it hurts. Apparently, he bit the inside of his lip while eating. And the pain that he's feeling inside of his mouth that does not show any physical bearing on the front side of his face. Apparently it hurts so much he had to convince his papa to give him a Band-Aid across the lip. That way it would feel better. And wouldn't you know it, it did feel better when he put that Band-Aid on.
Magical Band-Aids.
It's okay. I was a for Band-Aids when I was a kid, too. I had to have Band-Aids for everything. Everything.
Just goes to show the placebo effect is a thing.
So, with that being said, thank you guys for switching recording nights. It is going to make that 4-year-old just as happy tomorrow when we go to take him to see tractors. that Band-Aid makes him right now. So, happy 4th birthday, Walden.
Yeah.
I know I talk shit about you on the podcast, but it's just for comedy, kids. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love my son.
Well, I guess now that she's a paying customer, technically, my mom, I don't know how many episodes she's listened to, but
Ooh.
I was talking to her earlier this week, and she was like, yeah, I started listening to, your Lake Norman episode when I was at work, but I didn't get a chance to finish it because she was at work, so... But she was like, that one boy is really quiet. And I was like, I'm sitting here, like, obviously, Dougie, right?
Right.
Dougie.
And so I'm like, first of all, I'm like, boy? What? Why did you say boy? Like, it's like a 12-year-old. And she's like, I don't know, but he's really quiet. He doesn't really say much. And I'm like, I realize you can see me in the reflection of my mirror over here. Anyway, I'm like, which one are you talking about? And she was like, the one that's always in the bottom left. And I'm like,
Me? Quiet?
I'm like, Ryan? And she was like, is that who that is? I was like, yeah, but he's not quiet.
No.
And she was like,
I wouldn't say
oh,
so.
well, he kind of didn't seem like he had very much to say in the last episode. I'm like, trust me, you do not want him to talk. Trust me. She was like, why? I'm like, trust me, Mom. Trust me.
No.
And I will second this motion because you have to understand the effect you have on people, Ryan.
Before
before I became in this circle, I would hear Jess mention things, and I'm like, this kid can't be that bad.
I
got here.
I do.
And then I got here.
Okay, let me just speak. Just for anybody else that's curious, I don't tend to be quiet. The reason I am quiet during the podcast is because I often have a thought, and I'm like, right, think about this before you say it. I have to let it...
Which is a miracle in and of itself.
Yeah, I have to let it mature for a bit. And I'm like, right, let it meet the middleman. Okay, now let it come through. Right, now say it. I'm still wrong. Let me go back to the drawing board. It's literally like that every time I want to say something. So...
Well, and then the other 99% of the time, you just come right out and say stuff, and you're like...
And then I wish I hadn't.
I'm like, why did you say that?
Yeah.
Like, you could have just stopped and thought about that for, a few seconds.
Yeah.
And then been like, maybe I won't say that.
Yeah.
There are many times where you should walk things back, and you just don't.
Just don't say it at all. I can't even say that properly.
There should be at least a 10-minute thought process before you are legally allowed to say
Believe me,
anything.
sometimes it's longer than
You
that.
personally.
Sometimes it's longer than that. And the fact that see that happens as well. The fact is as well, Amber, you're right. I do seem to have an effect. Like it's whether it be the fact that I can't speak.
Yep.
Or whether it be spelling errors or something, that's why we now have the ongoing joke of Ryan 19, because he seems to be very catching and is contagious with us all. So, yeah, that's why I'm quiet in the corner a lot of the time.
I mean, our group chat name, for Christ's sake,
is based on one of your typos, or not even a typo. You genuinely thought that was a word.
You just made up a word.
It's the British. They make up everything.
Yeah, we do. And I'll graciously accept that because we take credit for everything.
I'm not going to say they make up everything. I'm going to say they steal everything.
Well, let's look at this logically.
If they made up everything, there wouldn't be the whole stigma of them being thieves, culture thieves. So
let's put it this way: we did essentially make up the English-British language, and you lot took that and ruined it.
Made it better.
No, you ruined it.
Yeah, I was going to say...
Says you, Ryan.
You guys still can't talk properly.
No, I can't specifically. You guys ruined it.
We ruined it,
You took
but you
all the
can't even
words
speak.
and made it simpler somehow. You simplified
We made it f***ing easier, mate.
Yeah, the Australians made it easier. A lot easier. The Americans just wanted to simplify everything because that was... I guess in their terms, easier.
Ryan, that's a win for you, because if it's simpler, it should be easier for you.
No, yeah.
Just gets too complicated.
How did that backfire? How did you make that backfire on me?
You do it to yourself.
Ryan's sitting here like, British is better. I know I can't speak it, but it is better.
Good accent.
In theory, it's better.
In theory,
In practice, well...
when it's coming out of my mouth, it's no good.
No.
Yes.
That's me done for
Case
today's
closed.
episode.
Well, that's it for our intro. Amber, what have you got for us today?
Okay, so today's episode, probably I don't know, well, I can't say that, I don't know what the boys have, but one of the larger urban legends brought to you by the smallest person on the podcast. I bring you Bigfoot. I will cite that my sources are outsideonline.com, youtube.com, which, I mean, I guess it's a resource now. I don't know. I'll get to that later. Relativelyinteresting.com, iheart.com, wikipedia.com, charlotteobserver.com, and cnn.com. A lot of scattered information went into this episode. So, just some nicknames: Sasquatch, Yeti, Bigfoot, We all know those terms, hopefully. Sightings have been reported everywhere, from the Himalayas to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, New York, Oregon, North Carolina. I mean, pretty much if you could name a state, they've had Bigfoot somewhere. I'm just going to go ahead and try to physically describe Bigfoot. Described to be large, muscular, very ape-like, anywhere from 6 foot to 9 foot tall, hair everywhere, described as what?
Is he single?
The 6 to 9 feet. What?
Shut the fuck up.
Where's the bonk bat? We are not even 15 minutes in.
It's okay.
Hair all over, color described as black, dark brown, like the kind of rust red looking. Also, if this piques Jess's interest at all, Bigfoot is also to be rumored to have a very pungent, strong, unpleasant odor to him is associated with Bigfoot. And I didn't even know that.
Why would
part.
that appeal to me?
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't know you liked everything else.
Everything else sounded
You seem
good.
very
And then
excited.
you said he's tall, he's hairy, he's dark, and oh, he's stinky.
And he smelled like ass.
Great.
Uh-oh, stinky.
Okay. Also, with enormous footprints. And you know what they say about men with big feet.
Big socks.
Big shoes.
Big socks. Big socks. Never mind, I just had a thought. I'm gonna let it go.
Bonk.
Why?
Feet rumored to be about 24 inches in length and 8 inches wide.
Bigger than
That's-
that, Ryan. Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
This
Yeah,
is
about
why
right
we
there.
don't let you
Yeah,
say
about right there.
things.
I'm going to be the mime in the corner now. That's a big ass foot. Feet.
Yeah, and some of the footprints, they look to have like claw marks. But to me, and I mean, I'll get into more of like the theories of like kind of disproving later, but to me that would make me think someone over exaggerating the size of like a bear paw.
Yeah.
Like to me it's
Bear
very
like the
likely some of the
animal?
stuff Yeah, the bear.
Okay.
Well, another bear.
What bear are you?
Well,
Oh.
got it.
I'm sorry. I'm just exhausted
Got it,
and
sister.
goofy.
Right.
It's fine.
No, I'm right there with you.
I
I'm
don't
right there
think
with
I
you.
should know that, but okay.
Okay, so, but again, that's all just a little bit about how he looks. Stands tall, kind of broad, hair all over the f***ing place, just, and having, like, crazy, like, arm length, like, and of course, like, the more, like, hunchy back, all that pretty much describes Bigfoot as what everyone thinks that Bigfoot is.
Right.
Name Bigfoot. I didn't know that the name Bigfoot came from this. A North American native chief, like somewhere in Canada, dubbed that name in the 1830s. And I think did I write it down? Yeah, I hope I'm saying this right. A Wyandot is the name of the tribe. Wyandot. I could be butchering that. I'm so sorry if I am. I'm not trying to be offensive. But that was based on the tracks that they would see, the size of the feet. He gave him the name Bigfoot.
Right.
But Bigfoot is pretty much only known to inhabit forest areas, and it's mainly within North America and Canada. I didn't know that the Canadians knew anything about Bigfoot. I just thought it was an American thing. I don't know.
I was going to ask, is Bigfoot just purely States, or is it something that's a worldwide thing?
And I mean, I didn't see anything that would be like south to us, like Mexico or anything like that. That's not to say that it's not true, but mainly all the information that I got was from like North America, Canada.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about some of the behaviors that Bigfoot expresses. Okay, a lot of people have reported like knocking sounds, like wood being knocked against each other, or like rocks being knocked together, and certain vocalizations such as a howl or a growl, and some of the recordings have been analyzed by U.S. Navy cryptologists, cryptologic linguistic something.
I'm not even going to attempt that.
No, I was going to say, don't you?
But yeah. But he, this guy named Scott Nelson, he observed he listened to the recordings like back in the 1970s, and he's like, well, it's definitely a language.
Those are certainly all words.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how I read it, was like, well, that certainly is a noise, and it sounds like it could be a language. Maybe not a human one. And I'm like, okay, well, fucking animals like birds and squirrels and shit, they like chirp and shit back to each other all the time. Like, that's their language. Like, what the are you, like, to me that sounds very vague.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what he said, pretty much, quote, "It is definitely a language. It is definitely not human in origin, and it could not have been faked." Okay.
All right.
Like, to me that sounds super fucking vague. Like, okay, it's an animal. Like, just say that. Just say that.
Yeah. Almost like he's trying to start more or less the legend itself.
Yeah, to me that has like pandering type of language to it, and I'm just whatever. It's whatever. Okay. There's also been reports of like what people have found to be what they think are Bigfoot campsites, which is part of the reason why I wanted to send the video of this next thing that I'm going to talk about.
Camping?
Okay, so the reports have been like...
That's intense.
Broken brain...
No! That was bad.
That was lame.
Bad, Jess.
I fucking hate
Bad.
you. So, but people have reported like limbs being stacked. Like, have you ever watched like Survivor or Naked and Afraid? Like any of those like competitive
like little like a makeshift like
Yeah.
Like a hut that people have just strewn together with whatever their resources are. I mean, that's basically what some of these reports are that people think that they have found.
Right.
What does it say? Okay. This is another thing that's weird. So, a lot of the reportings of Bigfoot have been at night. which doesn't really make much sense, because even if it's derivative from an ape, much like we ourselves are, evolution, if you believe in it, they're just not known to be nocturnal. That's not natural for them. So to assume something that is so close to ape-like in its species, to think that it's like up prancing around at night, it's just scientifically, biologically, it's just not, it's not the most logistic thing. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, well, most of the videos I've seen of Bigfoot sightings, it's all been daytime.
And see, I found a lot of nighttime ones in my research, and I'm like, okay. So what I'm thinking is like actual reportings, and there is so many of them. It is so many. It took a while to figure out which ones I would just narrow down to that I wanted to talk about. And I do have one that's reported at night, and I think it is total and I'll get to it. Okay, so does anyone remember that like famous forced footage of Bigfoot? And I'm gonna send something to the Discord. As soon as I send it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This is footage that was taken in 1967 in Northern California by Robert Pattinson.
What?
Oh, excuse me, Pattinson. Huh?
Bro.
Robert Patterson. And Bob Gimlin.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that before.
Okay. Which is a daytime photo. So people have people have studied just this picture. Have you clicked on the link itself yet? If you haven't, don't worry about it.
No, not yet.
At least not yet. So a lot of scientists have analyzed this photo, and it's all kind of been split down the middle. It's either, that's totally definitely non-human, we should research, blah, or it's been, no, that's just an ape suit. Okay, so if you actually click on that link,
that kind of looks like that.
You're
really
gonna
looks like an
see-
ape suit.
to me, it absolutely does, just looking at that. Okay, if you look within the article itself, you'll see that there's a GIF, and it gives you the option to play the stabilized footage of that film. Someone in 2000, I hope I don't butcher this. Someone in 2019 stabilized the footage and made it way more clearer to view. So if you look at it, just tell me what you think.
Wow.
Right?
That's, I mean, whoever did to stabilize that did a
Looks like
bloody good job, I can say that much.
it's almost clear as day.
Extremely.
First of all, I'm kind of offended that this link opened up on Microsoft Edge.
Yeah.
Well,
That's my
just,
first qualm.
That's just,
No, it's my default browser on Discord for some reason. I don't know.
I mean, same here.
It's taking forever to load, though.
That's...
Yeah,
I mean... Looking at it, straight away for me, it's not compelling enough for it to be a...
Okay.
To be a creature. It's the movements of the entire body for me that it's just not enough to be somebody in a suit of sorts.
It just looks like someone not just going for a walk in there.
Exactly, it really does. It's just the way his arms I'm saying his because it looks human. The way that his arms are swinging, they're just. It's not animal-like at all, or any form of ape, or at all. It's just like how I'd be walking down to the shop, just with clothes on.
And the just like the casual look around, look at them, then just look back and keep going.
If it was an animal of sorts, that you would have thought there would have been a bit more caution in looking around. I wouldn't just be looking at like, oh, hey, how you doing, Steve? And then keep going. You know, it's literally what it's like. Like, you turn around and you see somebody you know, and keeps going again.
I mean, it's just like, it's skulking like a human. But then again, the thing about Bigfoot is no one knows what he is or how he's supposed to move or how he's supposed to act.
That was going to be my counter argument. No one really knows what it is.
So it's like he
all
doesn't
been
necessarily
speculation.
Right. He doesn't necessarily have to adhere to natural laws in terms of
very good point. Yeah,
his behavior, since no one knows what he is.
Okay.
I don't know about that GIF. I don't know.
So I'm gonna skip a little around this, all around in my notes, but just to now knowing kind of what I know, I feel a little bit more inclined to believe that the GIF. Like, to me, and it's always kind of been that way to me, even without the stabilization. To me, it's always just looked like someone in an ape costume. So, this is where I have somehow just found a way to make this tie into home. So, in 2002... there's a man by the name of Philip Morris. Philip Morris owns Morris Costumes, which is it's like one of the largest manufacturers of costumes for like TV and film. And one of their specialties is ape costumes. Like all types of monkey costumes. So he made the claim that he was the person to actually sell Robert Patterson the suit that is worn in that footage. To give a little bit of backstory on Philip Morris, like I said, he's known for his costumes in TV and film. He was in TV and film himself back in the 1960s. He was on Big Bill's Clubhouse. Horror theater, just like really theatrical stuff. He did a lot of stuff like locally with North Carolina too. I think he was like on WBTV or something like that. And he actually reached a settlement with the executive producers with the Austin Powers franchise film based on his 1959 characters that he created, Dr. Evil and his son Scott. And wouldn't you fucking know it, Philip Morris does have a son named Scott Morris. I thought that was pretty impressive information just to find out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to end up sending you something else. Okay, in 2001, I think it was like 7-minute, 2001, the 7-minute video comes out. It's supposed to be like the longest recording of Bigfoot to date.
Right.
I find that to be just a little bit challenging whenever like the first 2 minutes of them are just stumbling on this makeshift campsite that they supposedly found. This video, it was taken by a dude named Jim Mills, and it looks like it's just him, maybe a couple other adults, and all these teenagers. Like, it just looks like maybe they're on some youth trip. I don't know. And to me, that screams a couple things. It screams a bunch of people out in the wilderness by themselves with a camera, and hey, wouldn't it be funny if kind of idea.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it just seems a little far-fetched. But they stumble on this campsite, which, of course, when I go to look for images, I can't find a fucking thing on the campsite. This was the video that got taken down by YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I didn't need it for content. I just watched the video on Monday. Guess what? I can't watch it now. As of yesterday. Anyway, I digress. So they stumble on this makeshift campsite, and it's pretty much just how I described earlier. It's just like a bunch of limbs and branches and leaves just, kind of put together, and it looks just like something off of Naked and Afraid. And then they all look out into the distance, and along this mountainside, they can just faintly see this silhouette of what they think is Bigfoot. I'm about to send you a picture of said thing in Discord right now.
Oh boy, here we go with the Microsoft Edge again. Let's go, boys.
That's it.
That's it. And in the video, it's just walking along that mountainside, it just kind of like back and forth. And it has these really dramatic gestures, like it's so mad. And they claim in the video, I cannot tell in the video when I watched it, it did not sound like someone saying, "Get out of my camp." But they swear up and down this thing is saying, "Get out of my camp." And I'm sorry, but looking at the pictures, to me, that just looks like someone with a really obnoxious big backpack on.
Yeah. Someone hiking.
It does not look compelling enough to be what people seem to think it's meant to be. It's I mean, what year did you say this was?
This was taken in 2001.
Okay. The camera technology obviously wasn't its greatest then anyway, let's be honest. So naturally, obviously, it leaves a bit of the imagination to be desired because it's going to be slightly warped as it is. But even so, it's enough to make out that, no.
And I mean, and me also knowing this too, but in the video, they're pretty far away from that dude.
Yeah.
Like, you can make something look like something from far away, and with the right kind of lighting and shadowing. I mean, shadow puppets are a thing, so I very much imagine you can fake being Bigfoot from a mile away. I probably look like Bigfoot from a mile away.
Let's not push it.
Hey.
But I mean, that if they reckon they heard him saying, "Get out of my camp," it was probably just some dude that was living out in the bush.
Yeah.
That was his camp that he'd made.
Of course,
not Bigfoot.
Why did I not think of that?
Yeah. Just some normal dude.
Yeah,
Could be a dude living out there,
Get the out of my camp. Leave my can of beans alone. Off. Yeah, I totally get that.
That would... That's so simple. But could be so true.
Mm.
Okay, I'm gonna retract back a little and go back to Philip Morris for a minute. Something that I did forget to mention. When he was mentioning that he believes that he sold that costume, and this is all before like the stabilization of that footage came out, because like I said, that stabilization came out in 2019. Philip Morris made his claims in 2002.
Right.
When he said that in 2002, automatically Bigfoot truthers came flocking in like, no, not true. A person doesn't, move like that naturally. Like, it's not, no, it couldn't be human.
He was walking.
It was just strolling.
Apparently about apparently about how he twisted his arms and moved his hips. Like, that wasn't natural for humans to do. So Philip Morris said this about
put it on.
Yeah.
So this is what Philip Morris said about those claims, and y'all saw the stabilization. You saw how it looked. Hearing this, if you look at that stabilization and hear what I'm saying, tell me, does it not sound spot on to what the you see? His response was, the Bigfoot researchers say that no one can walk that way in film. Oh, yes, they can. When you're wearing clown's feet, you cannot place the ball of your foot down first. You have to put your foot down flat, otherwise you're going to stumble. Another thing, when you put on the gorilla head, you can only turn your head and shoulders and your hips, plus the other pads in the suit are in the way of your jaw. That's why the Bigfoot turns and looks the way he does in the film. He had to twist his entire upper body.
Yeah.
That's pretty much why I kind of believe the whole Philip Morris thing. Like, I don't know why I feel so compelled to believe that, but to me that sounds plausible. It sounds the most realistic. Y'all, when I was researching this, I got to the point where I just started thinking to myself, okay, if there truly is a Bigfoot, I'm gonna go ahead and shatter some hearts and just say that I don't believe it. But if there's a chance that there's a Bigfoot, wouldn't we at this point in time, like, wouldn't we have some concrete scientific proof? Wouldn't we have, like, skeletal remains or, you know, something to study about the thing by now?
Considering it is...
Bold of you to assume Bigfoot dies.
Considering it has been an urban legend for so long, yeah.
1830s.
Yeah, you would have thought there would have been a little bit more evidence by now. You're right, to back up the theories, to substantialise it a little bit more. All we've got is a few videos and a few GIFs to go off.
And these are just random people, not people actually going out looking for them.
Yeah. And
thank you.
And any time people have gone out to look for them, like you see documentaries or vloggers or whatever, all of them unsuccessful.
Never find anything.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, but also too, when I was thinking about all this, I was like, okay, so what's some really compelling evidence that shows that Bigfoot's still lurking around? Like, what could I find in 2020 about Bigfoot sightings? And I found this, and y'all, if it is not the most opportunistic shit I have ever seen in my life.
I got excited. I was like, oh, and then...
So in March of 2020, this Colorado dude says, hey, I have this footage of Bigfoot looking through my window. By the way, I took this footage in 2017, and it's 3 years later, and I'm just now coming out with this information.
If that was the case, you'd be letting everyone know then and there.
Straight away.
Do you know how? Do you know how? Listen, March 2020. Do you know how bored everyone was in March of 2020?
I'm still trying to get over March 2020, and March 2021 is only 4 weeks away. I'm still that bored. Yes.
Okay, I just want to show you the picture that this dude provided, and it's probably going to be another Microsoft Edge link, so sorry. That's the picture.
Okay, that immediately gonna freak me, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time,
when I tell you, when we promo this episode, I want this photo used.
Oh, they're all gonna be. I'm gonna use them all. But
Get the out of here, you f***ers.
But seriously, if that happened 3 years ago, how have you not told anyone?
Why would you sit on it for...
Yeah.
Why would you sit on that information for 3 years? You know, I'm not trying to, you know, be like decision shaming or, you know, whatever someone might accuse me of, but I would just think
if Bigfoot sightings.
The only way...
I'd be like, if I'd taken that photo, it'd be straight on like Facebook or something like that saying, what the hell is this at my window?
Can somebody please come over with a shotgun or
Someone
something?
come get your mans.
Yeah.
Someone come get your mans, please.
The only way, not defending the guy, but the counter argument, the only way this could have almost been sat on for 3 years is if he was getting it appraised or identified or going through a proper system of sorts. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I saw no information indicating that, or I would have shared. It just really seemed like the dude
I
sat
imagine you would
on
have
it.
said that, but that is the only other way I can think of, is if it would have been that long, he would have just been like, "Okay, let me get this sorted out first, and then come out with it." But the fact that he has even said, "Yeah, I took this 3 years ago. By the way, here it is now."
And this also goes to, whenever I was doing this research, this isn't to say that people didn't claim to even have remains of Bigfoot. I found plenty of links where people thought that they had remains of Bigfoot. And one, it just seemed really gross. I didn't want to share. Secondly, they were never verified. Like, they were asked to, hey, you want to take it to so-and-so to be analyzed? Or, hey, can we look at that? And then they never fell through. Which tells me it's probably a hoax.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like so horny for urban legends. Like, I believe most
I
of them.
thought she was going to leave it as that. I thought she was just going to leave it as, as that.
I'm just so horny.
All this talk about Bigfoot, I'm so horny.
I think Nessie is real. I think Normie is real. I think Bigfoot is real. But I think that also, with how popular they are, that it draws in a lot of undesirables in terms of people wanting to be the next person to catch it on camera, that they get so like worked up about it that they end up falsifying something or embellishing something, and then it just makes the whole situation just completely convoluted, and then you can't tell what's real and what's not.
Yeah, it's being a for the exposure, and it's not like, and this isn't to say that some of these Bigfoot sightings are, it's not to say that none of them aren't true and that none of them don't hold weight, but I just feel like people are so eager to be the one to see him that they'll put like anything out there. I feel like probably most of the people who claim to have seen him, or who have at least like posted pictures, are lying or have like embellished in one way or another. I feel like those who may have actually seen him, I feel like that's a situation where you're so caught off guard, you may not really even have time to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
So I'd be more prone to believe people who don't provide pictures as opposed to the ones that do.
Yeah, I could agree with that, yeah.
And this isn't, and it's not, it's not just to throw shade on, people who do be embellishing and coming up with on their own, because
shade the out of them, bro.
No, I mean absolutely, but also shade the companies that exploit that too. How many Animal Planet, or I can't think of what that one channel is, but they have always got some up TV reality shows, but they've had like Hunting Sasquatch or The Search for Bigfoot. Like, you pushing, like, they have a tendency to like push a narrative. Like, some of them can be done really well and some of them are done really trashy, and I think those ones that kind of appeal to that just commercialization, they just push people to be that way, like, oh, I'm gonna be the next one. And so it's everyone's fault.
Has anyone ever seen Bigfoot's dick?
I did not find that information.
Do you know how long I've been waiting for you to ask that question?
Why have you been waiting for that?
To be fair, I was expecting.
Why
you
is that
to
the
say
question
at
you're excited
when
about?
Abby was first describing Bigfoot.
He's like, God, I've been hoping you would ask that.
No, I didn't
want
to know, but when Abby was first describing Bigfoot, and then when she said, and this might appeal to Jess, before she went, oh, stinky, I was really expecting there to be some sort of description there.
I was gonna say you were wondering about his dick after the fact I mentioned he was stinky.
Ryan's been waiting this whole show for me to ask that.
No, I was... see, this is why I need to think about what I'm going to say, because I don't mean it in that context.
God, I wish you would just ask it already.
I was waiting on you to ask that, because I thought you would... This is why I don't speak.
Well... Well, that, boys, concludes all of my research on the infamous Bigfoot that I'm not convinced exists.
So you did all that research, and even though you knew straight away,
just to say I don't
just
believe
to say, nah, not true.
Wow, that's just like that podcast episode I listened to about Normie, where the guy was like, anyway, he's a sea creature, and I don't believe it.
and you know, I had a feeling that you would bring that up, but I'm.
But at least you went into detail.
Well, thank you. I tried very hard.
No, it's paid off. It's done very well. To be fair, I didn't know a great deal about Bigfoot anyway, just from what I'd seen of photos, videos, and a few of the documentaries. So not a lot there. Oh, and like video game Easter eggs and whatever. Blah 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 blah. So the fact
I didn't know the stank.
Well, no.
Well, come on.
Well, does he have access to
he
running
takes a
water?
shower?
Yeah.
You're that hairy?
I mean, yeah, I get he's hairy and he, doesn't have like soap and stuff, but I mean, I didn't know people associated a nasty smell with him.
Mate, do bears smell sweet? Do any hairy animals smell nice?
Sadie smells wonderful.
Yeah,
What?
All the
I've just
time.
realized, you've got to get incredibly close to something to be able to smell it.
Not
you, that's
Not
necessarily.
necessarily. No.
Not necessarily. Have you visited Fayetteville?
True.
Have you been to Fayetteville?
True. I walked
but now
that
that you've just fed me that information, I am now going to delay my visit to Fayetteville.
I'm telling you right now, you do not need to be close to someone to smell them.
Okay. But,
You've clearly never been to Cape Fear High School.
no. But,
Just
Lord
at
have mercy,
Just-
the
and bad
swamp
decisions.
ass.
just going off of the basic logic outside of your town.
Shout out to our alma mater.
No, that goes for anywhere,
It's
Ryan. If you smell
anywhere,
bad
Ryan.
enough, you are pungent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you are.
I've come across
You're
a
not
few.
pungent. Come here.
Yeah, no, there's always that one guy, and there was always that one guy at school where you're like, dude. Yeah.
Well, apparently that's exactly what the Bigfoot smells like.
Nasty ass.
I just thought about that scene from, what was it, Anchorman? Where they had that cologne sex
Oh my
cancer,
God!
And that one chick was like, oh my god, it smells like Bigfoot's dick!
Dick!
God.
I cannot wait to text my mom and tell her that we just said that in the podcast. She's finally going to listen to an episode.
I've been waiting 16 years for this moment.
Oh.
Oh
Wow.
god.
So, Bigfoot. Stinky. Not true.
Bigfoot, big stinky boy.
I like
I want to meet him and give him a bath.
Give him a pedicure.
No, Dougie, he's
He was
stinky.
just going to yell at you to get out of his camp.
I wasn't expecting that. I want to meet him just to give him a bath. Wow. Okay.
New reality show. Bigfoot Makeover.
I'd watch that. Before and after shot, you know. Well. That was
Shave him to see what he looks like underneath.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what she was doing. You were getting the baby.
Yeah, I was trying to get her to get up here, but she just kept, like, rolling over and, like, yeah.
Not wanting.
Oh. Are
You ready to
hungry?
close us out, Sadie girl?
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
She said, bitch, I am Bigfoot.
I can clearly say, I
Anyway.
can definitely say
She said-
no. I wouldn't believe in Bigfoot.
She said I got that Bigfoot energy.
Well, it's Ryan next on the chopping block. Ryan,
Yes.
are you going to abruptly leave the chat?
No, I'm secure. Yeah, I'm next week. I do know what I'm going to be doing. And this isn't a lie this time. I know what I'm going to do. Have I researched it yet? No. but I will be starting. Yeah, it's obviously a British one because we're sticking to our regions. So I've never heard of this one until I took into some research already, and I heard from a lot of people that it's like, yes, you should do this one. Like, you should do this. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, it's gonna be good. It's what sort of teaser can I give? Another creature of sorts, should we say, just for now.
Is it bigger than Bigfoot?
Don't know.
The Queen's not real.
Oh! It's a lizard.
Queen Elizabeth.
That's my best friend you're talking about, Jess.
Queen
I hate
Lizzie.
that. I hate it.
I meant to, well, I'm not going to tell you, but I figured out your tell, Ryan, when you're lying.
What? What's my tell?
I would tell you.
I want to know my tell. Because
Then you'll be
stop.
conscious of it.
No. Here's the thing. I know my tell from my mother. She knows my tell, and she's told me what my...
What does she think your tell is?
Long blink.
Yeah, what does she
She
think?
thinks it's long blinks.
No.
Okay, so what's my tell?
Just make sure you text it to me, okay?
I will, yeah. When I text you, you're going to be like, you're right.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
No, because if I
What, that
tell
we
you
have
what
conversations
it is, then you'll
behind your
stop.
back?
Yes to both of you.
Yeah, so
Is it?
I can't tell you, or else you'll be like, "Oh, I gotta stop."
Is it when I?
doing
Is it
that.
when I look away? Is it? Do I laugh? Do I go more British?
No.
More British.
Listeners, let me know what you think my tell
You
is. Okay, I
are
need
right.
to fix this.
You are right. She just texted it to me. She's 1000% right.
I need to. I need to know.
They're not.
Further proof that we all know each other way too f***ing well.
And what's funny too is he'll emphasize it on certain words too, where it
Yeah.
doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Body language.
No.
Just
Anyway,
give up,
we gotta
Ryan.
close this out, so see
not
you
gonna
guys
tell you.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.